For the next 7 days, I'll be eating nothing but tacos to figure out what taco style is the best and if it's possible to get tired of eating my favorite food of all time. The rules are I can only eat tacos for the next 7 days. Rule number 2, I must eat at least 2 times a day. And rule number 3, I cannot eat the same style of taco more than once. And if I break any of these rules, I need to force myself to drink a taco smoothie. Sounds disgusting, so I hope I don't have to do it. I started the first day with the American soft shell taco from Buffalo Wild Wings. Now they're labeled as street tacos on the menu, but clearly this is an American style taco. Regardless, it was actually pretty good, but it essentially had a chicken wing and a taco type flavor. It was also kind of rough having to see my friends eat wings while I was eating these tacos, but I know for a fact that there's tacos much better than this, therefore I gotta give it a C. Now yes, I will be rating every taco I eat in this challenge, so be sure to stay till the end to see who I crown as the king of tacos. And now you're also probably thinking, why on earth would I start a taco challenge at Buffalo Wild Wings? Well, that morning I actually had a soccer game and it's usually tradition to go out to eat after. And well, we decided upon Buffalo Wild Wings, which also means yes, next Sunday I will also have another soccer game coming off a 7-day taco diet. So wish me luck. Now for dinner, I kept the same Americanized theme and grabbed some Taco Bell. Now here, I tried a couple different options, so here's how it went. First, I had the classic hard shell taco and the Doritos Locos taco, which both were good and I'd probably give both a B. Then I had the chicken chalupa, which was not like I remembered. The tortilla was dry and it just seemed to lack a lot of flavor, so I'll probably give that one a D. Lastly, I had the cheesy gordita Loco Taco Crunch, which I didn't think I'd like this much, but goddamn, it was honestly so good. The beef with the sauce and the Dorito shell and the soft tortilla, it was the perfect bite. But overall, I'm gonna have to group this all together and put it on B tier for Taco Bell or just American style tacos. Now, I forgot to mention that I actually weighed myself before this challenge started because I'm curious to see how my weight fluctuates before and after a 7-day taco diet. So I weighed myself and I came out to 174.6. Now stay tuned to the end to find out if I lost weight, gained weight, or stayed the same. Now on day 2, I wasn't really feeling the best. The literal street that I live on was getting repaved, so they were so loud so early in the morning that day that I didn't really get the best sleep. But regardless, I had a mission that day and that was to get some tacos. But first, I had to feed the best dogs in the world, my Kobe and my Roscoe. And of course, my turtle Squirtle. Now for lunch, I had chicken roll tacos from a place called Viva El Taco Express. Now I don't know if I misread the menu or something, but I got the chicken roll taco meal, which I thought came with 6 tacos. But to my surprise, came with 12, which was way more than I needed. So that's why when I ate these and I was finished, it looked like I barely left a dent in the plate, but trust me, I was full. Now, as far as the taco goes, the flavor was actually pretty good for how simple it was. And the texture with that crunchy hard shell, delicious. So I gave them a B. Now at this point, my stomach was kind of hurting until I used the restroom, and then I felt better afterwards. For dinner, I had some loaded tacos from Los Tacos. Now I couldn't find the official name of these tacos, so if you do know, please let me know down in the comments. But I call them loaded tacos because they're absolutely loaded with beans, cheese, guac, sour cream, meat. But they were $8 each. But I do kind of see why, because every ingredient in that taco was really fresh and delicious and all came together to make a really good taco. So good in fact that it had became my favorite taco of this challenge thus far. So obviously this had to go in the A tier. But just like that, I was done with day 2 and I thought this was going to be the easiest challenge of all time. But boy was I wrong. I don't know what it is with tacos, maybe it's because they're so greasy, but I had the worst heartburn that night. But on top of the heartburn, Las Vegas Paving Company was back at it again at 5 a.m. making noise. And this was possibly one of the worst nights of sleep I've ever had in my life, really. And now at least I was able to leave my house through the gravel roads, but I just had to get out of there as soon as I woke up. For lunch, I bought my mom and I tacos al vapor from Binotazo. If you couldn't tell, yes, these are literally steamed tacos cooked in water vapor, hence the name tacos al vapor. We got 2 different flavors, a pork and a bean. Also, unlike other tacos, you can actually eat these with a spoon or a fork because they'll literally fall apart, as you can see right here. Now these tacos are absolutely delicious and they're like a flavor bomb in your mouth. But honestly, I don't know if I'm really a fan of the soft. It might be a little too soggy for me, and the whole point of these tacos is the texture, which I just think I prefer a crunchier taco than a soft taco, or soggy in this case. So it was close to an A, but I'll probably have to end up giving it a B. I also added way too much hot sauce and was spiced out for like a good 30 minutes. But even after it went away, my stomach was absolutely burning. And I knew in that instance, this was definitely gonna come back and haunt me. Afterwards, I walked the mall with my mom to let the food digest a little bit. And because walking in Las Vegas in 100-degree weather is basically a workout in itself. So it was good to get some sweat out and spend some time with my mom. For dinner, I had my girlfriend's favorite taco style, Tacos El Gordo, or the Tijuana style taco. Now yes, these are very similar to street tacos with some minor differences, from the very yellow corn tortilla to the creamy avocado sauce and to their famous adobada meat that they cut right off the skewer while it's cooking. Now these are good, don't get me wrong, but regardless of all the hype, it's a little too much for me. The dark tortilla, the black char on the meat, it just gives me too much of a bitter or umami taste that I'm not really a big fan of. But I'm not saying whatsoever that these are bad tacos. They're just not my favorite. They're my girlfriend's favorite, but not mine. So I'm gonna have to give it a B. I swear, every night I just feel the heartburn. Like, I can't even fall asleep. I just feel like that shit's gonna come back up. It's bad. On day 4, I woke up and went on a Target run with my girlfriend. Now you're probably wondering, what does Target have to do with any of this? Well, because this is where my body decided to dispose of all the tacos I've eaten thus far. And well, remember that spicy sauce I said would come back to haunt me? Well, that's who I blame. It wasn't all bad though, because when I was done, I felt like a completely new person, ready to take on some more tacos. So for lunch, we went to Chino's Mexican Grill and had their famous Aztec tacos. And now for $5.99, I found these to be actually pretty cheap because they're absolutely loaded with meat and shrimp. And bruh, these were hitting. They actually blew everything I had out the water and were absolutely crazy. It was so good, in fact, that it didn't even feel like it was my 4th day of eating tacos. This felt like another normal day to me. So this was definitely an easy A-tier taco. On our way home, we stopped by the store. And for the first time, I kind of felt like breaking. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm a big time snacker. And well, for the past 4 days, I haven't had any snacks. So it was kind of tough looking at all these chips and candies. But I remain strong. But anyways, for dinner, we actually had homemade tacos from my girlfriend's mom, who happens to be a really good cook. Now, homemade tacos aren't necessarily a style of taco, but my point of adding them to the challenge is the fact that tacos can come in any shapes and sizes, especially from home. You just work with what you got. So on the menu, we had 2 different tacos. One with green salsa, shredded chicken, and cheese, and one with a pork and veggie sort of stuffing, which I've actually never even had. And now obviously both with fresh handmade tortillas, which is always a win in my opinion. Of course, they were so delicious and I absolutely destroyed my plate. So overall, homemade tacos will always be an A for me. Well, depending on who's making them. On day 5, I had to get up and get out of my house ASAP. They were already applying new pavement to my street, which meant that if I didn't leave before they got to my house, I would not have been able to get out, and I'd be stuck on my house until they were fully finished. So luckily I managed to leave just in time. But I didn't go straight to getting some tacos. First I went to the park to get some touches on the ball and some exercise because I was feeling a little bloated, but that really didn't last that long. I was only out there for like 30 minutes. 113 degrees. That doesn't help either, but I was absolutely dead after. But like I said, I felt bloated, and at this point I was really not craving tacos anymore. So I came up with a plan. First, I was gonna have a taco that had a unique taste from the rest that I've never had in my life. That's why I went with some breakfast tacos for lunch. Now yes, I've never had a breakfast taco because I'm usually a breakfast burrito type of guy, and they were honestly kind of hard to find. So that's why I decided to go with IHOP, because when I just Googled it, that's the first thing that came up. But sadly, they were not as good as I thought. They were just really bland and plain, and I don't even think they put salt on these, man. I know they probably would have been better from somewhere else, but I just couldn't find a spot that sold some. So sadly, this just got a D. So my second part of the plan was to have my favorite taco of all time, which is street tacos. These tacos are probably what everyone thinks of when they think of tacos, and are usually very accessible and sold on the streets, as the name implies, and usually offers so many different protein choices and toppings. It's the perfect place to start if you never had a taco, which I don't know why anyone's never had a taco. Now the tacos that I went for are my absolute favorite, which is tripe tacos. Now what's tripe?
Tripe is the edible lining from the stomach of a ruminant animal, most often a cow.
Or in other words, cow guts. Now I know what you're thinking, oh my gosh, that sounds so disgusting. But trust me, do not knock it till you try it. It's my absolute favorite. But I actually did get these a little too crispy, which is my fault because I asked for them that way. But regardless, they were still so good and juicy. And my plan had worked just as I expected. That overwhelming feeling of eating tacos all week had gone away, all from just eating my favorite tacos. Now this was obviously an easy A. And I ended off the day by watching the new King of the Hill reboot, which I gotta say is really good. And if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. It was so good, I gotta give it a shout out. On day 6, I woke up and I couldn't believe my eyes. A couple days ago, my street looked like a straight war zone. And it sounded like one too. But in just 6 days, my whole street was all repaved. I couldn't believe it. They did this job so fast in such hot, extreme temperatures. I gotta give them a round of applause. And for lunch, I had something new that I've never had again, which is vegan tacos. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the whole vegan movement because why would you want to eat something that tastes like animal meat if you want to avoid animal meat? I don't know. That's just my thought about it. Nonetheless, I went into this with a very open mind, especially because the place I went to was actually voted #1 vegan taco restaurant in the whole US. So how bad can it really be? My first impression when I got the food was actually a good one. And they honestly looked like regular tacos and they looked appetizing. I started first with the steak taco and it was actually really good. I was only slightly able to tell they were vegan, more from the texture than taste, but everything else was pretty spot on, honestly. Now, as far for the al pastor, that's where we had some problems. The overall taco was just way too sweet. The texture of the meat was just not ideal. It felt a little too squishy and I didn't like it. Wasn't really my cup of tea. But overall, I need to be fair, and because a steak taco I actually did like, I'm gonna have to meet in the middle and probably give it a C. And now if eating vegan tacos wasn't bad enough, I received my car registration reminder in the mail from the DMV. Now tell me why the DMV wants me to pay $632 to register my car for another year. So as you can see, I know that they're actually using the money to build new roads, but $600? That's a little steep in my opinion. But anyways, I just had a vent about that for a second. And for dinner, I tried another new taco that I've never had. A crazy concoction, as some might say. A hot Cheeto taco from Abuela's Tacos. And now, I didn't even know this existed until I was researching for this video. And like I said, I'm a big snacker, so I thought this would kind of take away some cravings from wanting to snack on chips. Not only is it topped with hot Cheeto crumbs, but the tortilla is actually integrated with the hot Cheetos. Like I said, I thought I would absolutely love this, but the truth is, I didn't. I don't know what it was, but the hot Cheeto flavor mixed with the taco just did not work for me. The taco still did get finished, but not by me. My girlfriend and her family helped me out and they absolutely loved them, but I just couldn't see the vision like they did. But just because everyone around me loved them, I think I'm just gonna bump it up to a C. Yeah, if you think you'd like it, try it out, but no promises. Now finally, day 7 was upon us. But before stuffing myself, I checked my weight to see how it had changed after 7 days of eating purely tacos. And to my surprise, I weighed an even 170 pounds, meaning I lost 4.6 pounds from just eating my favorite food of all time. Might be the new diet hack. I honestly was not expecting that because every taco literally has double tortillas, so I was just counting up the calories of the tortilla and it was starting to add up to a lot. But yeah, if you're considering losing weight, try the taco diet. Just kidding, please do not try this at home. I'm not a trained professional, so I really shouldn't be doing this either. And so for the last day, I went to El Zarape for a newer taco, a revolutionary taco, a taco that has been trending for the past 10 years upwards. This is the quesabirria taco. These are absolutely delicious. When I got home, I went straight into it. As soon as I took that first bite, I knew these were special. You see, I've had these before, and they are some of my favorite tacos, but for it to be my 7th day in a row eating tacos, and these still hitting harder than anything I've ever had, I knew these were special. And after I killed the whole plate, I knew it was only right to crown these tacos the king of all tacos. Like, just look at the cheese pull and the drip coming from this taco. The soft meat, the lime, the salsa, it all works so well. It's so beautiful. This is the taco you must try if you want to fall in love with tacos. But anyways, right after this, I decided to have my last taco of the challenge. You see, ever since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with Choco Tacos. But in 2022, they were actually discontinued due to demand of other products. Now, I don't know, but it all seems too fishy to me. But recently, Cold Stone created their own version. So, you know I had to give it a try. Now, I did have high hopes for this, but honestly, it was pretty bad. Not only was it $8, but the cone didn't even have texture to it. It was so soggy, and even down to the ice cream flavor, it wasn't a good choice. I don't even know what ice cream flavor it was. And on top of that, they had sprinkles all over it, which I don't even like sprinkles. I don't think they have a good flavor, and I don't think they work for anything. It was so bad, in fact, that I had to hand it off to my girlfriend for her to finish. So, it gets a D. Now, as I'm wrapping this video up, I have to come clean to you guys and let y'all know that I might have failed in the last hour or so. You see, I got back home and I realized it was one of my friend's birthday parties that day. So I rushed and hurried up to get ready and was honestly the last person to show up to the party, so I wasn't even able to surprise him. But while I was there, I had a bite of something and realized after my taste buds had just exploded that cupcake was not a taco. It tasted a little bit too good, and I knew why. I had just broke my challenge. Now I know it is the 7th day and it was probably in its final 2 hours of the challenge, but I still broke the challenge, which means I need to drink a taco smoothie. So in a blender, I put in a breakfast taco, a steak taco, and a tripe taco. Then I put in a Taco Bell classic taco and the Doritos Locos taco, and my absolute favorite, the birria taco. Topped it all off with some Taco Bell hot sauce and my favorite green hot sauce, a little bit of water, and I blended it all together. And that's how I got my taco smoothie. All right, so here it is. As you can see, it's not really a smoothie, it's more of a milkshake, so have to eat it with a spoon. Wish me luck. This looks absolutely disgusting. It smells like dog food. And egg, the egg is so overpowering, but it's just tacos. So let's see if I could get through this. Now, honestly, it's not that bad. No, it's bad. It's bad. Hold on, it's actually really bad. So I don't know if I can finish this, but it tastes like I would think dog food tastes like, because it just smells like dog food and it tastes like it. I don't know why. Why would tacos mix together smell like dog food? But it does, and I do one more, but I don't know if I could do any more after that. So, all right. Wish me luck. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Thank you guys for watching.